even if you go on and win the Pro 14, and given your success in the Pro 14, you may well do well in that competition. But how would not getting through in Europe go down?
Yeah, it'd be disappointing, because we would look at it and we wouldn't look at the Bath game, regardless of the result in Bath. I don't think that'll define our campaign. It's probably more the couple of errors in the game out in Toulon, where we gave them a head start. You know, we a slap back at a line out, an intercept pass, and 7 points. You know, in a 1 point ball game, those are big plays. You know, put ourselves under immense pressure. And then if you look at the Bath game, our discipline let us down, and the way we played in the wet. So it's more looking at those two, round 1 and 2, have put us under immense pressure. Meant we had to get maximum points against Treviso, which we managed to do. So we've got ourselves back in with an opportunity. But the reality is we shouldn't be in this position. We should be able to win, lose or draw this game, be going to the last game with an opportunity to qualify. We're not in that position, and we have ourselves to blame. It's not that we aren't good enough. We've let a couple of opportunities slip through our fingertips, and that is the disappointing thing, that we find ourselves in this position. Having said that, we're very much approaching the game on the weekend. We're alive. Everyone knows that. 3 teams within a point of each other. And what we want to do is make it go to the wire. So we obviously want to go down to the Rec and put on a good performance, and put those last two, those round 1 and 2 performances behind us. But if we have to reflect back on it, it'll be rounds 1 and 2, not this round, which will be the one that we look really hard at.
Just got 2 questions on various players. Rhys Patchell's performance at 15. He's come here wanting to play 10, but the irony is a performance like that, you know, it gives him another string to his bow in terms of Welsh selection, even though he covers the 10 shirt, obviously.
Yeah, well, Rhys has come to play 10, and we contracted him to come and play 10. We obviously know that he can play 15. Everyone knows that. And we've said to Rhys from day one that you're coming as a 10. However, we'll always select what's best for the team to get the result on the day. So, and he's happy that if we get injuries, that he would step in there. At the end of the day, he's a rugby player and he wants to play. And if you chuck 10 or 15 at him, he'll pull a jersey on and do what's best for the team. He loves playing rugby, but he wants to be a 10, and we see him as a 10. So last week, I thought he did a fantastic job for us. Helped us out with the injuries that we had, and it was a no-brainer to go that way, and it paid dividends. And it's just a reminder to everybody that there's more to one string to his bow. You know, he can play in more than one position. We know that. Will he play in that position this week? Our intention is to play him at 10.
Tim, you said before that you weren't in the market to bring George North back. Is that the same for any winger? There's a former winger doing well in Worcester at the moment, and has expressed a desire to come back.
Has he? I heard somewhere he'd signed a new contract, but I could be wrong there.
So there's no interest on that?
You know, I've said all along, George has been a fantastic player, and I believe there's still a lot of good rugby in him in the right environment. I think he'd go very, very well in this environment. What we've got to be mindful of is the number of internationals that we have, and to accumulate points to win the competition like we did last year. We had the spine of a team when the internationals were away that could do that. We've taken Hadley Parkes out of that. You know, 1 or 2 other players won't be in that mix that were there last year. So we've got to be very mindful of the balance within the group. Those are my comments last time round, and you know, those are the things that we still look at, is getting the balance right. If we have the funding, the luxury of a George, I think this would be a great place for him to play as rugby. So those are all the things, you know, that we have to bear in mind. We've got a group of young players in the club coming through that are, I think, are going to have big futures in the game. Tommy Rogers, Tommy Lewis, these sorts of boys with the ones we've already got. Corey Baldwin, who hasn't played yet this season, he's going to play his first game of rugby this weekend because of a groin surgery that he had at the start of the season. Johan Nicholas, we've seen little bits and pieces of. These are young men, you know, all Wales under-20s players or 18-year-olds. So they've got big futures. So it's a balancing act, you know, and that's where we're at. And I'd imagine I'll be catching up with George.
A couple of loose forwards. Where are you with that? Are you close to finalising any deals?
Yes, we are.
Any clues as to our positions?
No. No, you got to understand, when we do speak to players from outside the region, you know, they have current contracts that they're in, which they want to honour, and they want to play rugby. They're rugby players at the end of the day, and you know, some of these competitions in the world are only just getting underway, and they've got a full season ahead of them. So you make announcements early, it can jeopardise selections in some cases. So for us to make an announcement, it's where the timing is right for both parties. And at the moment, we won't be naming any replacements for loose forwards.
Okay, you said you know, next season you wanted a bit more depth across the board. Obviously, I know you can't name any names, but are you confident you've got that for next season?
Yes.
And back to the rugby then. Obviously, the Scarlets pack has come on leaps and bounds, but I was reading you know, a few previews, and it's the same old question. Scarlets have a great backline, but can their pack win enough ball? You know, do you think that's still a fair assessment? Do you think your pack's strong enough to win an arm wrestle against the likes of Bath and Toulon?
My memory serves me right, we beat Toulon out here last year, and they kicked the penalty to beat us in the last 5 minutes out there. So I think the answer to the Toulon question is yes, we can. And there's more ways than one to skin a cat, you know. What we're going to look at here in the season here, people talk about, you know, being able to match it with these teams in the wet conditions. Well, the playoffs are played in the time of the year where generally the conditions are suitable to play a bit of rugby. And the first third of the competition, it's that way as well. So 2/3 of the competition, I feel we can play a certain brand of rugby. And the middle part of the year, as you've seen, we're grinding out results, and we did that last year and we're doing it this year. If you ask Leinster and Munster how our pack goes, based on the playoffs last year and the Ospreys, I think they'd say it goes all right.
Thank you.